one of the best animated things I've ever seen for little children, and it's called Word World. Word World comes on PBS, and it's non-sexist, non-racist. There aren't any blue-eyed, brown-eyed, good guys, bad guys, this kind of thing. All of the characters in this animation are made up of the letters that spell out what they are. So if you're looking at an ant, the letters A-N-T make up the body of the ant. If you're looking at a dog, the letters D-O-G make up the body of the dog. If you're looking at a barn, the letters B-A-R-N make up the body of the barn. And it's very, very well done, well thought out. Individual. I don't want to use the word individual, but it's very unique. It's like, wow, that is somebody that was straight tapping in. But you can do cartoons now, again, because people control the media, they control what does and doesn't get out there. So you can either, if you do them well, you can try, they don't always work for people because a lot of people are very picky about what gets out because they're on some control freak agenda, like I just said a minute ago. But Scholastic has a little newspaper that goes around to a lot of the schools where if you can get your product into the newspaper, they hand them out to each student. That's if you can get Scholastic to do it. A lot of times they'll put it in there. But what happens is it's a little newspaper that they give to each student from like kindergarten to, I want to say middle school. I haven't seen any of them in high school, even though they should be. But and that's when I was working in the Compton Unified School District. The children take them home, and they and their parents go through them, and they go, okay, well, this looks like a very good book or magazine or cartoon. This looks educational or whatever the case may be. And they select in the magazine what they want, and they order from the magazine what they want, and they pay for it, and the stuff is delivered usually to the school, to the student, who then takes it home to use it. But there's also a company called Lightning Source. They are a subdivision of Ingram Publications. They were brought to my attention by Dr. Suzar. And Lightning Source, they're really quite fabulous. Actually, if you put together your own product, you can, and I don't see why they wouldn't do video. I know they do books, and if they don't do video, they should know who does. But with them, you can publish your own stuff. You get your stuff to them. You have to have your own ISBN numbers, which you get from I think it's Boker or Bowler. Boker, I think. BOWKER, I think it is. I think you have to buy a minimum of, it used to be 10, maybe 100 now, but I think you buy a minimum of 10 ISBN numbers so that when you sell this stuff through whatever publication company or Amazon or Bookstar or Barnes & Noble or whoever is selling it, so that the money can come to you and the book will be traceable to you through your ISBN numbers. And I'm not even sure if I'm answering this person's question, but if you can put this stuff together with Ingram Publications, usually they will, you send them a copy, they'll master produce it in a format, and you pay for their first production of the format. Once you pay for it, they will fill orders from any store, anywhere for you. They will fill orders for you. If you call in and go, listen, I need you to send one book over here to Texas, one book over here to Chicago, they will drop ship those books wherever you want, to whoever you want, and when it's all said and done, they will send you a bill, or they will send you your part of whatever the money will be, and they'll bill you, and you deal with it that way. But actually, they're one of the better ones out there, and you can take a book that might cost you $20 to get published somewhere else. Once Ingram sets up everything for you, I don't know if they, like I said, I don't know if they do videotapes. I don't see why they wouldn't. But once they set everything up for you, it might cost you $3 a book. and, you know, the book you normally sell for $25 and some other publishing company was charging you $15 for it per book, Ingram might charge you $2 or $3 or $4 a book and everything else you pocket. So I would look into Ingram, Lightning Source, which is a subdivision of Ingram Publications. And if they don't do, I don't know if you're trying to do DVDs, I don't know if you're trying to do videotape, I'm not sure how you're trying to do it. You can call me and I can try to elaborate more because I'm not even sure if I'm answering the question for you at 2 if you're in the United States. This is a Los Angeles, California number. It's 213-928-6155. And, you know, leave your name and number and what state you're calling from and what it's about, and I'll call you up. And if that doesn't answer the question, can you re-ask it so I can make sure that I can get what you're asking me?
Well, that's the question that they asked. And someone said they have a question on power. Can you type it in the chat room?
I'm not in the chat room. I don't do chat rooms. My computer's not
No,
even
somebody in the chat room. I'm telling them to type the question.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a clue what's going on in the chat room. Let's see. I really thought there'd be a whole lot more questions going on than this. 2, 3. Because, you know, I've been told that before I even get online good, there are a lot of hands up in the chat room, on the phones. And because I don't stop or breathe or break, you know, people hang up because I'm not calling for questions or asking for questions. And I just thought I'd give everybody a chance to ask me questions. But, you know, there's no one, you know, we're not going to sit here and just listen to dead space.
Well, I guess you should go on because, okay.
All right, then.
They said that people are casting spells. A lot of people are casting spells on people using the power of the female to do it, like women. So that the power doesn't fall back on them. I don't know. But they didn't. That's all they typed.
That sounds like a comment more than a question.
The question is, will the energy fall back on the man or the woman? I guess they're saying people that's casting spells on other people, would it go back, or would the energy fall back on the man or the woman?
I'm not sure that I comprehend the total nature of this question, and if people think when I say I'm going to start teaching y'all spirituality, I'm going to start teaching you how to cast spells, you got another thing coming, because that's not what I'm talking about. However, if someone is casting a spell, and let me not use the word spell, because every time you speak and open your mouth, you are casting spells, because words are made up of letters that are spelled out to make up a word. So when you are speaking, you're spelling. So you're speaking words that are spelled out to make up the word. But if you are attempting to forward any type of energy to other people through someone else that is to the detriment of this intended recipient, that can come back to both of you if, in fact, the person you're attempting to send this hostile energy to has any sort of protection up on themselves. Because there are people that put reflective barriers around themselves and bounce stuff, and I've seen that personally, because I don't try to harm anybody else. To me, life is too short. You're supposed to do you and not hurt anybody else. That's what's wrong with the world. Too many people trying to do other people. Too many people trying to hurt other people. But a prime example of energy, and I don't know if this individual was trying to cast a spell on me. I don't think they were, but prime example. when I'm all in my stuff, and I'm not always all in my stuff because sometimes I'm on other stuff. I had a job once, and I had put a protective barrier around me, and it's always there, but sometimes it's more amplified than at other times. And it just depends on how I feel. I may have it where anyone trying to send any hurt or harm or hostility my way, to bounce it back to them 10 times magnified. Sometimes I might say 100 times. It just depends on how I'm feeling, because I know how much power I am and have, so I try not to hurt other individuals. However, there was a cat, not knowing that I have my spiritual work in order, that had attempted to get me fired from a job that I had in Southern California. And I didn't realize this cat was attempting to get me fired. I found out after the fact. But something had occurred, and it was so long ago, I'm not the one to even remember the specifics, especially on things like that. But something transpired where this individual went about the business of attempting to get me terminated. And this was on a Saturday. And it was a job that I was working where I only worked on Saturday unless someone else needed me to cover for them. Now, when I left Saturday, everything was fine and dandy and hunky-dory. And there had been an exchange of words between me and an individual that was tripping on some other stuff that didn't make any sense to me. I couldn't understand where it came from because it seemed like it was out of right field. I'm not going to say left field because left field is the level field, so it seemed like it was out of right field to me. But when I returned the following Saturday, I was like, where's so-and-so? Isn't so-and-so supposed to be here? And they were like, ooh, girl, we got to tell you what happened with so-and-so. I'm like, well, dang, what happened? And they were telling me what happened, and this individual got fired, like, I think they tried to get me fired that day, and I found out after. But somewhere between my leaving Saturday and the Monday that followed that, which is only 2 to 3 days later, when I returned 7 days later on the Saturday and asked what happened to so-and-so, I found out that so-and-so had been fired somewhere between Saturday and Monday. And then everybody was like, man, and what's so cold is, sis, you don't even know that sucker was trying to get you fired. I'm like, get real. Why? And they were like, hey, man, dude was telling your employer that he shouldn't have you and that he needs to let you go, and he was trying to get dude to not let you come back. And brother was like, no, I'm not going to let Sister Yaffa go, or whatever the case may be. And whatever the deal was, not only did this cat get fired, his ass got escorted out the door. They didn't even let him leave on his own accord. They walked him out of the business. So I'm saying that to say, when you are attempting to do things to other people that are going to bring some sort of hurt, harm, or hostility to them, you better watch yourself, because you don't know who you're screwing around with. Just because people look like they're dim-witted and don't know anything, you don't know what is going on with them or what they're about. And even individuals that don't partake in anything spiritual or do any science other than calling on Jesus, some of these people have ancestors, which y'all call ancestors, that got gates around them, and you come stepping through them, their ancestors will ream you one. So you need to watch out. Now, if you're trying to do some sort of spell that you think is to help someone, that's not good either. You're not supposed to pray for other people. You're not supposed to try to do protections and work for other people unless you're dealing with your own children, particularly young children. You are not supposed to do energy work of any kind for anyone else, because now you are impacting on the whole right use of will. You're also impacting on whatever karmic they have going on.
We also have four callers. Do you want to take the calls right now?
Absolutely. Bring them in. Bring in the callers.
Okay. 718-496, you're on the air. You have a question? 718-496, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, how y'all for, babe?